always, Jabari. How are you, sir?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, always. So today we have one of our higher seeded sets here, as TutusAsylum is actually the number one seed in the bracket, going up against OK Gens, who had a nice set against AT Legend first round there.
Yep, and we should also mention at some point that we have a very novel seeding formula that we're using. Tech Chariot actually developed an algorithm for us, which takes into account a player's past history as well. So Tutus Asylum is the highest seed. Not only had a very high elo at the time of sign up, but has played closer to the 1500 elo range for longer than all the other participants.
Yeah, Tech Chariot has given us a lot of information. We've gone with what we wanted to, which was like the overall average from the beginning of the statistics until now. So it's not seeded as some tournaments, but we think it's going well. I think the competition has been great. We've had quite a good amount of games where I feel like the competition has been right there on either side.
Yeah, and I mean, the normal goal of seeding is actually to have quite a lot of mismatches in the early rounds to ensure that the stronger players meet in later rounds if possible. And I mean, I feel like the seeding system is better than the standard, but definitely the formula has its issues and could stand to go through a few iterations.
Yeah, but I'm happy with it, and I think it's been good thus far. So pretty happy we went with this route. Um, But big shout out to Tech Chariot. He is a streamer as well, so you guys could go give him a follow if you wanted to. But do appreciate him going through all the work for that.
Yeah.
So the Sieve Draft. The maps are on your screen. We have Tutu's got Italians, Franks, Lithuanians, and Japanese. Okigens has Sicilians, Persians, Indians, and Vietnamese. Home maps for OKGen is Banana Cove, and for Tutu here it will be Monkey Lanes. Game 1 is going to be Arabia, obviously. But looks pretty solid to me. OKGens has some interesting civs in here, so I'm curious what he's going to go for.
Yep, and OK Gens also has a notable lack of water sieve. I don't know why in a best of three with water map players keep on doing this, but maybe he's got some crazy transport plan, or maybe he's just not prepared.
Well, Persians could be his civ, honestly. They may not have a
Yeah,
water bonus, but that dock HP, it could be beneficial.
yeah, no, he's got a couple viable water sieves in there, but in a best of three with four sieves picked, there's no reason to not take at least one top tier water sieve, in my opinion.
Yeah, another map for Arena, or sorry, Banana Cove, and no Byzantines. Interesting. But shall we dive in?
Yep, nothing to wait for here. Let's get into it.
All right, I am at 5 seconds when you're ready.
All right, I'm in the replays page. Still need to load it up and count it down.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so Dark Tutu, also TutusAsylum. We're aware of this alias. Did submit this. Both profiles very similarly ranked. Honestly, this one and the other are so comparable, it doesn't really change anything for us. But he will be playing with the Lithuanians here in yellow, and then in the gray we have OK Gens with the Vietnamese. Interesting Civ matchup there.
Yeah, I actually think Vietnamese is a top archer civ. I don't mind seeing them at all here. Their civ bonus of knowing where the enemy TC is seems like it's getting put to put to good use here as OK Gens actually sends his monkey forward right away.
Yeah, interesting subplot. I had asked him, or he had asked me, apologies, if this was permitted. So he checked with admin before the set to make sure he was permitted to lame. So I was kind of expecting this at some point. We'll see how this works out for him. Wood line's not the greatest here for Dark. It's going to be quite the ways away. Gonna steal one sheep and the boar here from his opponent, and it looks like, not sure if Tutu had spotted that. He may have, actually. So he may be aware of the situation.
Yeah, I actually was doing some practice games and I experimented with stealing. In addition to being easier to pull off because you don't need to micro the monkey as much, it's actually harder to stop as well because the enemy monkey is slower relatively. So as soon as you start taking off with that boar towards your base, if the defending monkey doesn't happen to be somewhere en route to your TC, you're going to pull it off. And against the number one seed, do what you gotta to get any advantage. I think it's it's a risk, of course, to send the scout forward early, but in this case, it pays off. And against the top seed, still you might not feel too good. You've taken some advantage, but I doubt that OK Gens is super confident regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very wide margin as far as the ranking here. We have the player 1 seed against what I believe is actually player seed 33. So, I mean, by all means, try to get what you can here.
For sure. And, if there's any Civ where it's okay to get your boars stolen, Lithuanians seem like a good one. Starting with half a boar's worth of extra food in the bank, it's not that hard to adapt your build.
Yeah, and I think he's actually been just fine here. I don't think he's panicked at all. I think he'll probably push in his deer, which are quite easily pushable, honestly. And he's already on to berries. His loss of 450 food, we'll see if that comes into effect. But all in all, another bonus for the Vietnamese is knowing where your opponent's town center is. And as you can see on the mini-map here with the Fog of War, it is very visible, so making laming even more of a possibility here.
Yep, I like it. Excellent start for OK Gens. Let's see if he's able to carry this advantage.
Yeah, I mean, deer are already being pushed in. That is the correct move here for Dark. If he pushes these in, he'll have a good bit of food still for him. And on the other side, things looking fairly similar for both. As far as maps go, Dark has a little bit of a better position on the left-hand side of his base, but it is closer to his opponent, which is unfortunate for him. But he does have some cliffs and some wood lines that would make this wallable should he choose to do so. And then on the back, it looks like OK Gens is actually walling up a spot here. But he could also wall up a bit, but walling is going to be pretty big of an investment for both players in this weekend.
Yeah, a pretty big investment, but it still looks doable. If I were in either of these players' positions, I would still make an effort to wall, at least to the TC. They both have defensible back golds and several wood lines that they could use as part of their walls. So, while not perfect, as far as the luck of the draw goes with wallable bases, I think they both have pretty acceptable gens here.
For sure, and actually Dark clicks up sooner. He's the first one up, even after getting lamed. Lithuanians getting that nice bonus, and gonna be headed to gold right away, so it looks like this is gonna be man-at-arms play.
Yep, and this should hit pretty hard. It doesn't look like OK Gens is small walling. I'm sure he's spending a lot of attention pushing these deer right now. I would guess that the walls will not come up in time, and men-at-arms are going to just get in on this wood.
Yeah, and it looks like he's actually going to have a mining camp and another lumber camp forward here, so will be quite the exposed eco here, as OK Gens is being really greedy, pushing this all in as well. I can't argue with, but man, tons of food that he's taken this game.
Yep, and Dark Tutu or Tutus, I don't know, we can just call him Dark. Hits the age so far before his opponent. OK Gens going 23 pop, I guess, straight archers. He's leaving himself extremely vulnerable here to men-at-arms, scout rushes. He's just so late to military.
Absolutely, and saw the chat up there. Dark is a Frenchman, so unless you know how to speak French, I couldn't tell you what that said there, but Man-at-Arms will be in a second, and the attempt to wall this up, as it's been seen, is there, but Man-at-Arms will break through these, no question.
Yeah, these palisades are not going to hold if the men-at-arms choose to go through, and it looks like they are. The monkey makes it especially so. And OK Jens is in trouble. He needs this gold for archers, loses his own monkey, ton of idle vills, doesn't even have his ranges up yet, nonetheless producing. I mean, this could be the start of the GG attack here.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very greedy here to try to go straight archers. Not only because his opponent is in such an interesting position after being lamed, but the map doesn't really allow for this sort of greed here, and decided to go for it anyways. Archers will be able to be produced, however, and he will be dropping a blacksmith as well, so he's going to try to take care of this. We'll see what he can do. Interesting little wall up again here, but there's no way that he's going to be able to keep this all up.
Yeah, palisade gates are famously weak to men-at-arms. I mean, if this is the gold that you're planning to take, I feel like you have to almost preemptively tower it. These archers were just not going to get out in time to defend against men-at-arms, scouts, or any of the probable openings you'd expect from Lithuanians.
Yeah, but well played, though. He does survive, doesn't lose a Vil, and he does have two archers on the field and did take the monkey out, so he's going to be able to be just fine for the moment. Farming eco starting to come along here for OK Jens as he realized his wood count was insane.
Yeah, it looks like he's weathered this, as R032 has been actually quite late with his own follow-up. I guess I was assuming that scouts or something would come behind. Instead, it looks like he's going for his own mix of ranged units. So, yeah, his attack appears to be repelled, and I guess I was really jumping the gun, almost calling the game there. OK Jens has actually held fabulously.
Yeah, I mean, it could have done a lot more damage than it did. Obviously, forcing the Lithuanian player into ranged units is very beneficial here, but we'll see how well it works out. Both players will have fletching. Right now, OK Jens in a good position. Howls at the moment. Farm and Eco starting to come up for both players. As far as map position, though, I definitely prefer Dark's position. He is forward enough to keep his opponent away from his base, and he is going to be full walled behind this here before too long, and he should be having a very easy, safe base to go to Castle Age with.
Yeah, but, the feudal age at least has turned into an archer war, which definitely favors the Vietnamese. Lithuanians obviously have a skirm bonus. Vietnamese have their own, Vietnamese having more HP, while Lithuanians have more speed. So I guess it's a decently even fight here, but Vietnamese of these civs is the one who prefers to be building this army at this point, as carries into Castle Age much better for the Vietnamese.
Yeah, and this has forced Dark into upgrades here that he probably would not want to get in general, but I mean, honestly, playing it very well. He actually has the villager lead ever so slightly here, as there's been just a little bit more idle time for OK Jens, but ultimately this skirmisher mass that is coming here is going to be a problem for OK Jens. He's going to have to switch into his own skirms or add scouts, maybe even knights in the next age.
Yep, as it appears, OK Jens is going for a much faster castle than his opponent. Can't really complain about this. He's gonna get up enough ahead of his opponent that he should have a very wide window where he has the tech advantage, and things like that are how you win games.
Yeah, I definitely cannot argue with it. The thing that's going to be interesting, though, is he did have to build this tower, so he's going to have to commit pretty heavily here moving forward, as we see some market play from Dark as he's getting closer to being up, and he has wheelbarrow in and the same villager count at the moment, as the economy is just going to be a little bit smoother here.
Yeah, I wonder if Dark actually sensed that OK Jens is up, either by seeing the score drop or by noticing the lack of military, commitment to feudal age. Because that market abuse, I doubt that's what he was thinking. But given that his opponent had just clicked up, doing whatever you can to try and follow suit is a very good move.
Yeah, and he's going to be up here very shortly. Going to be a pretty competitive time, and Crossbow will be able to deal with the skirmishers that are here. As a vill goes down to skirms, it's not what you want to see happen here. There are quite a few weak villagers on this gold pile, but a very important gold. There is one very safe in the back, another one over here towards the right, but ultimately, military numbers are going to be very important here.
Yep, and Dark actually kind of holding down this hill. Let's see if OK Gens is able to push him back at all in early Castle Age.
I mean, he's going to have to try, but there will be the knight switch behind this, it looks like, as we're going to see a stable come up, and we already have skill barding coming in, so elite skirm upgrade is probably going to be worth it here for Dark, but I don't know if he'll go with anything else, as this is a nice time to try to push back for a counter here, but Dark does the right thing, and he's going home as well to try to save this military mass.
Yep, I think Elite Skirm's probably off the table, at least, as an immediate thing, just because you have to prioritize, either the cavalry or the ranged units, and I assume he'll prioritize cavalry here. But yeah, very interesting game. These crossbows have their moment here. They're kind of approaching the base, though, from a pretty strong side, so they might get some pot shots at these vills over the walls, but I'm not sure how quickly they'll be able to get in.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get in at all, but very nice to snag that one villager. Skirms are coming over here, but there are some palisades that he may be able to break through, but even if he goes in here, the skirmishers will be right behind.
Yeah, and that window in which he was in Castle Age with attack advantage is about to close. He's kind of done minimal damage with it.
Yeah, and a stable addition behind this for OK Gens as well, so he's getting the skill barding armor himself. He's going to try to take the best fight he can here, it looks like, against this military. But for now, elite skirm play. It is going to be elite skirm, actually. Kind of shocked there.
Yep, which makes the addition of a stable for OK Gens very smart. Knights will do excellently against an army of essentially pure Lithuanian skirms. But we did see Dark22 get the armor upgrade for cavalry, so we know the knights are just a bit behind. It's just a matter of priorities.
Yeah, and he also grabbed bloodlines, so these knights will be decently upgraded here to come out. The armies will be cleaned up here, it looks like, for the most part. Actually, the micro is a little bit better for OK Gens, so he may actually escape this with a few crossbows, and that could be annoying over here. Will require some attention.
Yep, very nice. That extra Vietnamese HP might have been the difference here, and he's going to end it with maybe one crossbow. Depends how hard he wants to micro it. In this weird case, microing your 2 units versus 1 actually makes sense, since one crossbow could actually kind of idle that wood line for a minute, but it looks like... Oh.
Well, so much for that. Knight is forward here. Won't get a lot done. Will actually go down, it looks like, for free. But the second town center is some good information here for Dark to have, as he is adding a second town center himself.
Yep, so this is actually looking to be a pretty evenly matched game. Everything we were saying about top versus bottom seed, if we just went into this blind, it would be pretty difficult to pick which one of these players is top seed, as OK Gens is kind of neck and neck. He was a little late to the start, but he fended off the first attack with no military decently, and kind of doesn't have a scar to show for it.
Yeah, and it's very interesting as well, because he's going to wall in this relic. He knows of the bonus and wants to prevent this from happening. So I'm really curious why he didn't just go for this himself with a monastery, but I guess walling it in is a decent thing at the moment. Knights are moving forward, quite a few of them. They only have +1 defense and bloodlines, though, so see what kind of damage they can cause.
They'll definitely be annoying. They will definitely idle some eco. And at this elo, they should also pick a few vills. It's difficult to micro your army at the front and keep a constant eye on your base at home. If it were me, I probably wouldn't even see the knights until they've taken down a vill, honestly.
Yeah, unfortunately for Dark, though, they run into a mining camp on stone with no villagers there. The crossbows will be coming back, which is good for Dark, as he will shift onto 3 town centers behind this. Still a lot of exposed economy here, though. So these knights will probably try to do some damage. Like they will actually be pushed back. So this is good for OK Gens. And I mean, this is, like you said, it's looking like a very well-matched game here.
Yep, though these knights are keeping the entire army at home for OK Gens. I don't know how this game feels in the late game. Vietnamese versus Lithuanians. Seems like Lithuanians probably have the edge, but neither player really feels like they need to go forward and end it early. It looks like they might just boom into a big late battle.
I don't think so. Honestly, I think the Lithuanians have the mobility, and it's going to be used and showcased here. I mean, he's already picked off 1 vill. Here will be a 2nd vill for no knights. And now he's in on the farming eco, and will lose another vill or 2, maybe 3 actually went down here. So he's just going to use the mobility. And with OK Gens being this open, going to keep him at home, and there's a 3rd town center behind this coming up for Dark, and the farming eco is exploding for him as well. Has a massive skirms headed forward. Not sure we make it to late game with all this military on the field here.
Indeed, and these crossbows, they're doing a lot of chasing. Maybe they're getting a little bit of damage in, but I think they should probably go forward for a counterattack. They can't effectively defend the whole base, as we see knights diving TCs on one side while being chased off on another.
Yeah, the skirms were cited here by the light cav that is being produced now. Light cav, an interesting choice here. Not sure it makes sense, but he's maybe just trying to snipe the potential monks, honestly. Because Eichmann upgrade as well.
As monk snipers, I like it a lot. Just having the stable, I think, is pretty good, especially with the armor. In a pinch, he can add a couple knights to help in a fight with the skirms. If siege comes out, he can add a couple of his own cavalry units. Even if you're not really going for any significant cavalry, having the option to pump out a few units for whatever purpose is really nice.
Yeah, and this is the part where the mobility is really paying into the game here. I mean, and Dark's doing a great job of using it to his advantage. He's also bringing the skirmishers forward, so there's a good shot that he'll actually be able to keep up the pressure this time. Won't have to run. We'll have to keep the eye on everything moving forward, and actually a siege workshop coming up for OK Gens.
Yeah, siege workshop at home. It seems like OK Gens is just on defense all game here.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's looking like this is a bad area to try to take a fight here. We do have a few knights for OK Gens added in, but those will go down quickly. OK Gens does not have the knight upgrades that we have for Dark.
Yeah, they took down a good number of skirms. I think they might have actually helped tip the fight in his balance.
Yeah, I mean, but being pushed back into your base here, and ultimately just no way of moving forward at the moment, is going to be rough for him. As the monk was picked off by the light cav from OK Gens here, so it was a solid choice to go into this here. And actually the fight on the front is looking better for OK Gens here.
Yeah, very pro play, sniping the monk. The fight in defense is looking pretty good. His resources are actually looking quite excellent. If he can get imp significantly sooner and upgrade all these crossbow to arbalest, he is in a game-winning position.
Yeah, a little bit surprising actually how well he's in position with his res. He's on imp, so he will need to be careful though with his military. He only has 25 crossbows. He does have light cav diving the base here, but keeping these crossbows alive is going to be crucial, as there are pikemen on the field here as well, hacked into quite a few things, but making a very nice convincing push back here.
Indeed, yeah, this is going to be crazy. His crossbows are already able to repel the army. Soon they're going to be arbalest, and he's just going to be that more dominant. But siege behind this is kind of necessary. Otherwise, Dark will just kind of be able to, avoid fighting, maybe lose a little bit at the front, but pure arbalest without siege behind it can't end the game in any way.
Yeah, and there's nothing as far as stone here for OK Gens. I mean, Arbalest is beautiful, and it will do a lot of damage, as we see crossbows even taking out Vills here. But Dark does have an 11 villager advantage. Dark actually elects to send the knights around. Is he going to go for a surround here, potentially?
Ooh. And OK Jens is looking vulnerable here. He might be committing the worst sin you can when you're waiting to go to Imp, which is losing your entire army. It kind of makes the Imp worthless. Trying to get into a little pocket in the woods here. It's possibly an even-ish trade, but when you take into consideration that he's losing future Arbalists, not crossbow, and it was going to be probably the only opportunity he'll have all game to be fighting Imp versus Castle, it is not worth giving that up.
Yeah, I mean, the KD right there was definitely rough. Although it is mostly skirmishers remaining. I mean, and we're seeing a big addition of production buildings here. It's not the end, and he will be able to do a few things with this, but again, no siege follow-up. He's up earlier, but his economy is quite significantly lower at this point. Interesting castle spot for Dark. I don't really agree with that one. I would have preferred it up here on the hill, but this is in front of his base at least. He will negate any direct attack in that direction.
I mean, he's just being cautious. He doesn't suspect that OK Jens had only 5 military when he hit Imp. Basically, Imp for nothing. Such an opportunity wasted losing those crossbows at the last possible second before Imp.
Yeah, and there will be pikemen, there will be crossbow. We'll counter the knights here, but they're in such a low mass, he will not be able to push for quite some time here. He's going to have to get his numbers back. And that said, it is 26 military to 20 right now. So he's not all that far behind, but knights translate so well with Lithuanians, especially if he is able to grab these relics at some point.
Yeah, but he's using his Imperial army just to, repel a small raid of knights. When you get to Imp before your opponent, you want to be doing damage, not just, mitigating your own losses.
Yeah, and this is the nice touch for Dark. He's going to actually stonewall the side here. I love it. Not something that you see too often, and it's going to give him very, very good confidence that he will not be hit from this direction should he finish those walls.
Yep, playing cautiously is the way to go. OK Jens has shown that he's quite strong, and that if Dark falters, OK Jens could take the game. But Dark has many reasons to think that he's ahead. When you have a considerable score lead while you're waiting for Imp to come in, that's great. Given the flow of the game, he's been the aggressor pretty much the whole time. He's had a very healthy boom. Dark feels like he's got it, and he just doesn't want to throw it, and the stone walls definitely help.
Yep, and the stone miners here are getting slaughtered, even though there are arbalests here with ballistics and every upgrade except for one armor upgrade. He's losing a lot of numbers. On the front, the Skirm army is going to take a magnificent change against the arbalests here. And now we have knights in the wood line, and on the gold, it's looking to be worse and worse now for OK Gens. I think he's just, after losing that big fight, in such a rough position here.
Yeah, I mean, it's also kind of the natural balance of Archer versus Cav 1v1s that in early Imp, the Archer player has a pretty nice advantage. Oof. And as it goes on and it becomes, high numbers of Cavalier, it's so difficult for the Archer player to deal with that. OK Jens probably recognizes the flow of the game, calls it maybe a little early, but I don't think he was going to win.
Yeah, and the score difference jumped very significantly there. He's not been able to do hardly any damage, only 8 economy kills, and he's losing units left and right. And mobility is very difficult to deal with when you're going up against any Knight Civ. But unfortunately, OK Gens will fall here, even though he had a very nice start to the game. And we'll have to move on to his home map. We'll take a at here, as well as the civs. So, yeah, Lithuanian victory, Vietnamese loss, and we will now move to Banana Cove here.
Yep, I'm curious if he goes Sicilians or Persians here. I'm kind of thinking Sicilians, and I'm hoping it is for some transport ships and shenanigans. Though, if you go Sicilians on a water map, it's so obvious it's coming.
Yeah, definitely a high potential of that. I have played Sicilians on this map myself, and even if you don't transport, they're still a great civ for this map. So let's load up into game 2 here.
And I'm ready when you are.
We'll see how this goes.
Um, there's a real surprise at the start of the game, but let's just get into it. And yeah,
Talking about the way the map looks.
nope. Let's start casting it, and then we can discuss.
All right, at 5 seconds.
Count it down.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so OK Jen's home map here, going with the Persians, and he will be in the gray here, and then on the other side, dark 2-2 here with yellow as Italians.
Yep. I guess I was just shocked by the Persians here. I mean, you said that they have a couple relevant water advantages, but when you have the full menu of water civs available to you, I mean, they just have some bonuses that seem to incidentally impact water. Nothing that in a very direct way translates to fielding, a larger navy more quickly. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Persians are a civ that feel great on a lot of hybrid maps, but this is more of a full water map. So I feel you there. It's definitely going to be difficult, especially with Italians on the other side. So they're going to have faster up times. Honestly, this is a situation where I feel like FC into Dock would actually be better for Persians.
FC into Doc. Well, I mean, if you do go for an FC, it will definitely throw your opponent off, and they'll probably make some weird decisions, thinking that like a castle drop or something crazy like that's coming. But FC, what do you do if the other player just like swarms your shoreline with galleys? It seems like you've got to dock before the enemy navy's at your shore.
I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to fully give up water right away, but I think going into like 2 dock maybe at most, getting the fish in the early game and just booming
Yeah.
might be the option because the HP on the docks it's just insane for Persians.
Indeed, yeah. Maybe the 2x HP is enough to hold through a light feudal age battery.
Yeah, but we'll see how it's played out here. One thing I love about Persians, their town center does work more efficiently than every other civ as well. I mean, they probably have the best town center in the game as far as HP, efficiency, all of those things at this point. I kind of disagree with the nerf that they got with the 5% being taken away in the Dark Age. I think that really made them very high-end civ, and after taking that away, I feel like they just fell off.
Yeah, man, it's the story of Civ balance. They kind of take away everything in Dark Age, I guess. As the esport matures more, people get better at abusing things, and some of these Civ bonuses just need to be made more subtle. I liked it. I mean, I liked all of the Civ bonuses when they were absurd. Some of the ones like Chinese starting with 6, even on Land Nomad and whatnot. But they've done a pretty good job overall balancing the game. I won't criticize the balancers.
No, I mean, it's a fine balance, and Persians are in a much better place than they used to be. I mean, remember boiling oil or whatever the tech was, where the castle would do more damage to rams? Like, that tech was just so terrible. Like, and now we have Commanderon, so crossbows that cost no gold. It's an interesting balance for them, for sure.
Yep, and both players are kind of matching each other's builds. It looks like this is going to be a very competent feudal age water fight.
Yeah, and again, it just kind of feels like it benefits Italians a little bit more to take those water fights, simply because of their X. But ultimately, be a fairly good matchup again on water. I mean, on water is so good. I love this map. I feel like we've seen a few games lately where it comes down to land, but I love watching galleys be microed, so really looking forward to seeing if that is the case forward here.
Yeah, and in my opinion, whoever wins water should win the game. There is a second phase of the game that occurs once water has been completely won. And in such cases, the land player should be a heavy underdog. I'm kind of shocked how frequently, though, it ends up being a pretty even contest with one player holding water, though.
Yeah, but with the ones we've seen as more of an even contest, feels like if they would have added fish after winning water, or if they would have focused a certain direction or another, it would have been a completely different game. The last game we saw on here, if fish were to have been added, it would have been a very nice position. As Monkey's dueling it out here, Dark wins it with 1 HP remaining.
Yeah, also in the previous game we saw on this, they failed to take advantage of Elite Cannon Galleon. I did go back and look it up. Teuton castles with full upgrades have 13 range. Regular Cannon Galleons also have 13 range. And I believe Elite was like 15 or 16. Elite would have definitely outranged the Teuton castles by quite a lot.
Yeah, and that would have definitely helped end that one much sooner. But nonetheless, here we will have 2 docks for both. Feudal Age is only about a 25-second difference, but the second dock is up in time. Production, though, not able to start immediately for both docks, so it will be a little bit of a delay, but still going to be out in a good time.
Yep, and I'm kind of surprised that we're finally seeing 2 players with what I would consider to be very clean water builds here. It seems like in almost every game, one of the players is just like taking a decisive advantage just by getting to 3 dock production sooner. And here, it looks like both players are going to be fielding similarly sized navies in similar time.
Yeah, I mean, OK Gens is adding that 3rd dock, but we'll see if he can support it. I believe he needs to shift these villas that are still taking food on to this, but there'll be 2 fire galleys for both here immediately.
Yep, he does need 6 on gold to maintain 3 dock production, but he is getting up to it now. Just added 1 more. I guess his TC gather point is on gold.
Yep. Looks fairly good. 3rd dock coming now for Dark as well, so OK Gens just barely ahead in population there. For about 10 seconds, really. It's about even.
Yep, as OK Gens overextends a bit, takes a little free damage on one of his fires. When the numbers are this low, that's actually pretty bad. He just lost, like, 20% of his total army HP. Pulling back to his own docks, though, with the defender's advantage, faster reinforcements, he should be able to take a decent fight here.
Yeah, and the big thing to pay attention to is these demos that are coming in here, and this is where it really becomes a very interesting fight, as that demo does tons of damage. Beautiful demo, and there's another one coming forward here, and if that hits, I think it could sink the rest of the Navy.
Yeah, OK Gens was looking so good, and he just took... Well, he took 1 horrible demo shot. There was just another demo passing, which spared him. But, ooh, that does not inspire confidence. Oof. I don't know what Dark is doing with these demos. He keeps on passing on opportunities to get great shots. And OK Gens here, with so many low HP ones, he really needs to bring these back for repairs. But it doesn't seem like either player is going for that strategy.
Yeah, repairs are massive, though. These could be full HP again soon. The demo for OK Gens not even close in comparison to damage just yet. And now it will be 4 docks versus 3, with the defender's advantage, obviously. Not something that you want to have to deal with.
Nope. And yeah, OK Gens, I mean, he has the current army lead. He's just kind of hanging out at Dark's docks. Not exactly the smartest move. He should probably be looking for those fish. Maybe like scouting a little to see that his opponent is on 4 docks. He's looking to be in good shape, but he's not taking a big enough advantage that I think he's going to best the Italians.
Yeah, and I mean, blow for blow here is a fine situation, But you have to consider Italian's uptime is going to be a little bit faster given the lack of resources needed for it. As, I mean, Dark is just taking some excellent trades here. Oh,
Yeah, these demos just continue to swing it back in Dark's favor. OK Gens has done so much better in the fire ship fights, but the average demo here is getting like 2 ships HP worth of value. It's insane.
it is. It is, in fact, ridiculous. As we see another demo coming forward here. 4 full HP fire ships. And that one was the worst demo that he's had all game. But it still took 70 HP off of one ship.
No, credit to OK Gens. That's kind of the minimum amount a demo can do to fires. He was able to pull it off and have it strike only one ship. OK Gens is now pulling... Oh, he's pulling back the weak one, but just to get in back, not going all the way back for repairs. As OK Gens is looking so vulnerable to demos here, clumped up right at the enemy docks.
Yeah, and demo ships are a big game changer here. Obviously, with Galley, it's a little bit different, but ultimately, the fight is clearly being won here by OK Gen's Fire v Fire. But as soon as the demo pops out, like this one's about to, there's three fires that are going to die here. 2, and then some HP off that one as well. And here we go, turn it right back around.
Yep, I mean, OK Gens has done so many things right. His build, his production, they've all been on point. He takes pretty good fights, but he's failing to bring back ships to repair. He's failing to dodge demos. He's failing to add demos of his own. He's just making a few too many mistakes, I feel, as Italians become so much better in Castle Age with the cheaper dock techs. They're able to get everything right away. In this case, Italians have more docks. In this case, Italians look like they're going to get up sooner. Despite kind of winning the water fight all Feudal Age, Dark is still a full-strength Italian water player going into Castle Age sooner. Ooh, yeah. It's not going to get any better for OK Gens.
Water is great. It's been very even, but again, the easier click-up time here for Italians making a big difference. As another demo is here. Can't decide which way to go. Will take a great shot here. And now the pushback begins. And production doesn't even need to continue at this point, really. He could hold off. He's not going to lose docks. He could repair them if necessary and just keep producing, but keeping them in his docks until he has upgrades at this point.
Yep, and again, I'll go back to how weird it is that OK Gens went for Persians here. Going for either like Portuguese or Byzantines, some Civ where they have a water bonus that makes their units actually fight better, could have made just such a huge difference. You see how long these ships hang on low HP. Anything to give your ships more attack, more HP, perhaps help you get more ships out would be huge. Persians, man, their bonus is just so subtle, and it looks like he prepared so well. I don't know how he's valuing Persians as his top choice of water civ.
Yeah, and he's gonna be in a world of hurt because he still needs another building to get up here, and he doesn't have the wood for it. It does not have a market, so there he is gonna get a market up. It's gonna try to rush it with 6 vills here, and he is taking a dock down, it looks like, but as soon as these dock techs come in, OK Gens will lose everything he has on water.
Yep, I mean, I wonder if it's possible he went Persians for their land play, but that doesn't make any sense that his strategy would be to lose water. The dock is going down pretty fast, but there's 4 others. Dark is getting the Castle Age ship upgrade, and I mean, that's just so overwhelming if the numbers are even close. Oh my god, the Castle Age demo. Yeah. So, OK Gens has better numbers here, but I think Dark's probably still going to win the fight with this tech.
Yeah, honestly, this is the best possible fight he could take. Yes, he does have the numbers, but he's still going to be pushed back here. And now everything at home, it's going to take quite a while. 1 minute until Castle Age still. And yeah, he's going to have to transition on to land, I feel like. I don't think sticking to this water build is going to do him a great job here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could go for a galley transition or something. Dark seems to be still committed to full fires. Well macroed galleys could beat that, but OK Gen's continuing to queue fires. Still a
No, I
long
think
time to wait.
I think he's doing a good job. It's just he's taking better fights at the moment, and it's just this unfortunate delay here, and he is getting there. It is. War Galley would have been my first upgrade, but he goes for eco upgrades first, which is fine. And he will have careening. Both players getting careening, so not sure why we're getting careening unless both players are expecting a galley switch at some point here.
I think the armor also helps in the fire v fire fights, but yeah, I mean, I would expect the galley switch. It kind of is the dominant Castle Age naval unit. And OK Gents has actually hung in this. He's survived with a navy long enough to match the tech. And OK Gens has a round 2 here. Water is still just completely contested. Either player could take it.
Yeah, we do have a barracks coming up, so potentially going to be something in that department. But the demos are in. I will heal you. Thank you for the raid. And again, the demos pay off magnificently.
Yep. I do like the barracks, though. It kind of signals that he's going to transport some knights. I mean, that's just so disruptive on a map like this, where players are just not ready for it.
Yeah. But will he be able to transport is the question. The water control and advantage is in Dark's favor. He has been the player going for the demos. The KD is only +2 for OK Gens, but and it'll be interesting. Both players have 2 TCs. A third TC going to be added here. Monkey is at 1 HP attacking the stone wall over here as well. In case you guys are wondering what all that was. But Army is definitely going to be interesting and important here. 3 dock, though, against 5 dock.
Yeah, and
Ooh,
Dark
the
has
demo. Terrible.
and Dark has a considerable numbers advantage here. It looks like Dark's taking a much better fight. For the first time, Dark is fielding a double-digit navy, and OK Gens, his army count is approaching 0 almost.
Yeah, the demos are alright in the end, but ultimately the lack of production is terrible. A monastery here. So is he going to try to convert fire galleys?
Yeah,
He
it's
is.
actually like, yeah, monks are OP against ships for sure.
Yeah, but that one goes down. It does give him a bit of time here. Dark with the 2 TCs constantly taking a slight villager lead here. He will soon have 3 as well.
Yeah, but the military count kind of indicates that Dark has 1 water at this point. And given what we saw in the first game where OK Gens called it in a position that was still winnable, I feel like OK Gen, he knew that his opponent was higher rated going into this. He can probably like feel his opponent's higher level all throughout the game. And if OK Gens falls behind by a lot, such as losing water, I doubt he will have the will to continue fighting as we've seen other players do recently.
Yeah, and the fishing ships finally do go down here. Pikeman switch, so he's going to try to switch onto land. There is a knight out here for him as well, as he took out the monkey, and it looks like there's a knight here forward for Dark patrolling the gate, which is nice. But ultimately, these docks are not going to survive. Third town center now being added here for OK Gens, as well as a ton of farming eco. He will have 30 farms after this. Just very nice considering his opponent has 17, but he does have full water control.
Yeah, I guess I was wrong. OK Gens is pivoting into his plan B here. He's lost water. Persians have bad Imperial Age water, missing Bracer even, so he's probably never planning to go back on it. I mean, he seems like he's a pretty well-prepared player. Maybe he knows how this is going to go. He's got to give up all of the land close to the shore, but besides that, he can play it like a land map, just clinging to the edge of the map.
Yeah, that, and it's good because Dark is actually going to add some fishing ships here as well, so he's not going to neglect the fishing economy he has won for himself. And we will have what looks to be Pike Monk at the moment, which, honestly, if he comes forward with some siege, I don't hate that at all.
Yep. I mean, I think there's three clear things that you can do once you take water to use it to your advantage. You can fish, you can transport, and then finally you can attack from the shoreline. Looks like he's adding a few fish. I don't see any transports yet. And you know that shoreline bombardment is going to be coming in hot with at least 2 TCs and the majority of OK Gens' other buildings within cannon galleon range of the shore.
And OK Jins is going to try to get a conversion up here in the north. I don't think he's going to get it. Does not. So the relics are being guarded here, and the monastery will go down before long. So, University. OK Jens is going to go Imperial Age.
I like it. I mean, you've got to take your advantage somehow. He's lost water. If he's able to actually muster an attack while Dark is still in Castle Age, as Dark playing with the market a little bit, yeah, he's preparing to defend himself from an Imperial Age land attack. With this castle up, I don't see what OK Gens is going to be able to do with a faster Imperial.
Well, he does have enough stone for his own castle. He may just build up and move forward here. Water. Oh, he's going to go for water. And there are galleys here now. This castle is going to be questionable at best.
This castle is going to be denied, man. These galleys will be able to range vills even on the far side of it.
Yeah, he will elect for another position here, which is good.
Oof, this one can be forced up, but I don't think it's going to give him enough time to retake water. I think this castle is just going to be a cannon galleon magnet, yeah.
Yeah, and interestingly, Dark was focusing these walls and will have some knights in here as well. So there are quite a few town centers, though, and these knights only have... They don't have any upgrades. Thought they had bloodlines, but they do not.
Yep, and you know, man, this is looking kind of like game one where OK Gens gets imp fast, and he doesn't really have any good options for what to do with it. He has essentially no standing army. He's not in a position to stage any sort of siege on the enemy.
Yep.
This imp is probably premature.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to do something here, but what can he do? As a forward siege workshop coming, not even all that forward, but it is on this half of the map at least. And the one thing out here that you have to pay attention to too, we do have some scouts here guarding these relics. So relics are going to be all in favor for Dark, which is actually massive here.
Yeah, Arc is going into the late game with huge advantages, relic control, map position, and I think probably most critically, water control, granting him basically a free siege on most of OK Gen's base.
And we're going to have another town center added. Pikemen forward here, not even trying to redock, so this castle is really just in defense at this point. Galley can reach this one area of wood, well, and will hit these vills all day long. But the fishing numbers behind this are getting quite good for Dark.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the actual population, if you ignore everything about the map and just look at the pop, it seems okay. But the actual balance here, I don't think OK Gens necessarily even has a plan himself. He's just kind of playing it out, trying to keep a healthy population. And you know what? Maybe something will happen. This map continues to surprise me.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try to go into Ram Halb, but we already had Pavise coming in, Ballistics on its way, Genbow, and Crossbow with Arbalest, I'm sure, going to be shortly behind here, as Imperial Age for both is already in, and Pavise, a beautiful upgrade here. Italian's going to be sitting in a good spot.
Yep, and it looks like the play is Rams from OK Gens. Rams are actually a unit which has the potential to roll Dark up on land. They're going to need some support. I don't think that Halb Ram will do it, but I like Rams as the starting point.
Yeah, and he will be getting Siege Ram already. His economy is in that good of a position. It is 1,000 food for Siege Ram, so that is huge. And the one thing that's going to be rough, though, is chemistry on its way in, so Cannon Galleon can range a lot here. And it looks like he's going to try to put another castle here on this point. So 2 castles will be troublesome. Ram Siege push, though, or Halbram push coming into the north.
Yep, and there is like an interesting dynamic where the player who wins water ends up having a lot of their population and, attention and resources tied up on water, whereas the player who's been pushed off it is able to dedicate everything to land. And OK Jens, he actually is pushing a little bit up top. He will lose his entire base, but if he's pushing the front, he doesn't necessarily need castles to defend himself at home. If he's already at 120 vills, he doesn't necessarily need town centers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just look at the primary front in the war here, OK Jens is winning.
Yeah, and the water is not really that effective at the moment, other than the fishing. There's no pressure coming in from that. We do have chemistry in already, and there has been no switch to Cannon Galleon. And interestingly, we have Cav upgrades.
I mean, he's just choosing his trash against the Rams. It doesn't hurt to have Hussar mixed in. Dark kind of looks like he's getting all the upgrades here. I guess he's going into both archers and cavalry. I guess leaving the infantry at the sidelines.
Yeah, and it's going to be rough to push this, honestly. We do have Onager coming in. And if that comes in, I mean, there are going to be knights and light cav, but if we can build the halberdier numbers up, Onager is an excellent play against Italians. We do finally have a cannon galleon here in production, so the castles will be going down. The shoreline will be very open and possibly susceptible to raiding.
Onager just finished. So Halb, Onager, Ram. If the shots land, this could work.
Yeah, now he's going to add crossbow, so he's going to try to go into that as well.
Trash bow for sure.
Yep, there's Commander on coming in now.
Yeah, so OK Jens is making a very proper land push here, and he's given himself a real chance.
Yeah, the light cav dive here won't do anything. These are gen bows. They have less range. So what is this, 7 range? Against what is 8 range for the Onager. So Arbaleth's going to be much more favorable here. But even still, the shots could come in.
Yeah, man, I have to stop calling GG when I lose water on this map. I don't know how these players manage to pull it out every time, but OK Jens is looking totally fine here.
Yeah, it's all about the transition, and it depends on your Civ and what you have available to you here, man. Like, this is going to be a great pushback. He's not going to be able to push the castle quite as easily, but he will be able to keep his position here and take out some production buildings, and he's going to add his own castle. And this is a beautiful play here.
Yep. The castle does stop him. I don't like him building his castle within cannon galleon range here. I would rather him just build it up against the edge of the map somewhere as a treb factory.
And he's killing a bunch of his own military too, unfortunately, but
yeah, I mean, he is housed, so I guess it's not really hurting him that much to kill a couple of halves, but yeah, you never want to see that.
Yeah, and honestly, I do like the fact of he still could try to come back on water, and I really think it would be a nice position if he did try to. But see if that comes into play at all here. Just giving up this thousands and thousands of food is huge. As the onagers all go down here, the halberd all going down, bombard cannon being added, which is huge as well. But cannon galleon not being utilized quite as effectively as we think it should be.
Yeah, cannon galleons actually are pretty slow to damage buildings, and I mean, there's just a war going on over here. Dark is a bit distracted. Those castles are kind of low priority targets. They're not really doing anything right now, so yeah, what really matters is the fight on our screen right here.
Yeah, and he is taking down that castle now, but this is the fight that matters. Crossbow v Arb, not going to do great here. There is no siege left on the field here, and this is the big problem for OK Jens, as he's got a Treb being produced, he's going to have Ram, but military mass is looking impressive, although there is 50 military on the field. It's just coming from so far away here. is the issue. And the Treb pops out and goes down immediately to these bombard cannons. This castle is not long for this game.
Yeah, I mean, Persians with their trash bows are an excellent post-imp, post-gold civ, but we are still in the gold phase of this game, and Dark's army is looking fabulous.
Yeah, and there's not knights or going towards paladin or heavy camel here for Persians, which even against Italians is going to be difficult. I mean, what do you spend your gold on here? I mean,
Onagers, maybe?
that's the only thing is siege, and I think he should have gone full trash in siege, in my opinion. But all in all, he's losing ground now. The bombard cannons, the trebs are all here. He is massing. There are onagers here, though, so the big plus. Rich, thank you for the follow, man.
Yep, onagers kind of give you a chance here for sure. A couple onager shots could take down, you know, 2 trebs, bombard cannons, a bunch of arbs, but it's kind of relying on Dark to make a mistake, as the cannons do one-shot one-shot an onager.
Big shot on the arbalest, though, so that's a nice plus. But yeah, that's the problem is with these bombard cannons. He almost needs to go into scout line as well here, I feel like.
I completely agree. Yeah, Persians need to go into the light cav line here. But there's a bunch of genbos in the mix. I can understand why he doesn't want to.
For sure. But I don't know how he pushes this back without it. It's becoming more and more evident this isn't working here for him as the gold. I mean, just look at the army value on the bottom of your screen. 6,500 for 1,700. Massive difference here. And most of the value is coming from siege. That goes down quite quickly here, unfortunately, for OK Gens.
Yeah, and it seems like OK Gens doesn't realize that he needs houses. I feel like he's missing a lot of military on the field. He's been stuck at that 165 denominator with population for a very long time. Okay, he's getting it up now.
Yep, and now we have Hussars joining the mix for Dark. His economy is really looking good for Hussar spam in the late game. Is some sneak back here and should find some villager kills as well. That's the front doing well, and the castles continue to go down from cannon galleons.
Yeah, OK Gens. Yeah, OK Gens gave it a really good try after losing water, but the line is just getting pushed back. Dark is consistently pop-capped with a very nice army. Though if he keeps taking these onager shots, he is going to run out of that gold core for his army.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, if Dark pulls back and waits for a minute to get these Hussar up front and pushes with both, or even lands some Hussar, it could be devastating here. I mean, the economy is looking good for both players. Dark still with that advantage, and honestly with the eco at this point, it may be too many villagers. He may decide to delete 20 of those at this point.
Yep, I don't think we've seen players do that yet on this map, but in a lot of games they definitely should.
Yeah, Onager comes out, attacks the castle directly, which is unfortunate here. There it's redirected, but now the Arbalests take that out. Yeah, this castle's going up, and then this push will slowly continue to consume this area.
Yeah, and OK Gen's base is completely undefended as well. As soon as the war gets close to home, a few Hussar finding their way into OK Gen's base will just destroy everything.
Yeah, and Commanderon is great, but it's not great at this point in the game where there's a ton of Arbalests here. I really think Skirmisher would have been the better option, but they are lacking gold, but I think the big bonus for the Skirmisher play here is the bonus damage against the Arbalests.
Yep, and this most recent castle securing control of another gold pile is absolutely huge. It kind of assures Dark the chance to continue making cold units for a few more minutes, and at the pace in which he's rolling OK Gens up, a few more minutes probably should be enough to close out the game.
Yeah, and now Elite Genbo is coming in, even though he doesn't have, he doesn't even have one on the field, but he has decided to go for that technology, and we'll probably start creating them before long. If this castle stays up, he is going to be able to repair it in time, it looks like. But again, the Arbalest mass, if we just select a group of these Arbalests, they have over 100 kills, 130 kills actually, and that's actually after losing a good bit of that earlier mass to a big shot.
Yeah, Dark has not been guarding his army as we saw Alakog do the other day. Dark is, sending his men into the meat grinder, and, that's how most people do war, and he's winning.
Yeah, and he continues to push back production buildings, which are getting him gold positions, of which he's going to take on the front. He's that confident in this position. And the siege workshops, he has to rebuild those as well, going for bombard cannon of his own now, which is nice. But ultimately, this group of Arbalest, 151 kills. The KD is 428 to 200, basically, in favor of Dark's position. Hussar raids could be huge. The cannon galleons are also taking out the production buildings in the back. The one that is researching Elite Skirm as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the mini-map, there's just this bare patch in OK Gen's territory around the water. The cannon galleons have just been slowly whittling away at everything he's got. It's probably a big part of the reason why OK Gens is consistently pop-capped as well. He's just constantly losing buildings from water.
Yep, and he's going to call it here, realizing he's not going to be able to push it back. OK Gens will take the second game loss here. So Dark will be moving on in this best of 3. GG's in chat, but OK Gen's journey will end here for him. Put on some interesting things for us here. He beat AT Legends in round 1, and going up against the number 1 seed as like the number 33 or something seed. Looked promising, especially in game 1. Just an unfortunate mistake, he lost his military early. And here, I think it was just the simple fact that Persians may not have been the best pick for the map.
Yep, as I kept saying, Persians is a baffling pick. Maybe he did consider their ability to keep fighting on land, and he did put up a really good fight on land, but water is prime here. You got to go for a top-tier water Civ every time. I'm not sure why he thought Persians were the pick.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think it might have cost him a little bit here. Hitch, thank you for gifting the sub to Dio Roja. Hope you guys are enjoying those. Unfortunately, we only have the one set this evening, so that will be the end of casting. But we are going to go do update bracket. So
we do have a meme as well.
So, if you guys are looking to avoid spoilers, now would be the time to play. I agree, it is sad, but remember, we have to give everyone the time necessary to play the games, and the deadline for this round is not until this coming Sunday. And we do have a decent amount of admin wins to give out here as well. I will verify those. Bracket will be updated a little bit later this evening, as this does not wish to update for me. But yeah, good games. No, we're not going to be playing anything tonight, Hitch. Unfortunately, the stream will end here. So you may or may not be able to tell, I sound a little bit rough, not feeling the greatest. So do appreciate everyone for tuning in this evening. Hope you guys are enjoying. Thanks again for the follow there, Rich, and the gift sub, Hitch. Thank you all for tuning in. Jabari, any closing words before we find someone to go raid?
No, thank you everybody for watching. I'm continually blown away by the viewer numbers, and the level of play here for the early rounds is kind of insane. I'm looking forward very much to playing my games, but I don't know how deep I'm going to be able to run in this bracket.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where you can go from here, man. As for everyone, it's been a blast. Been enjoying every game that we've cast thus far, but ultimately, it's a little bit tougher every round for competition. So, looking forward to seeing how it works out. Alright, guys. We gotta find someone to raid. We're gonna go raid, someone who is, sitting with one viewer right now. Name is, Joe. Go raid him. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate it. Oh, that's gonna do it for us.